Many of us parents want our kids to have a better life than we did. I grew up in a loving family with phenomenal parents who taught me the importance of putting family first and always being there for each other. But like many families, we didn't grow up around money or investing. I didn't even start learning about it until late in college. Now, after over a decade as a financial planner, I'm determined to do things differently for my kids and set them up with a solid financial foundation. The truth is, college costs have exploded over 180% in the last few decades. Most parents feel stuck, wondering how they can prepare their kids for success without sacrificing their own goals. In this video, I'll show you the exact strategies and investment accounts my wife and I are using to build wealth for our kids while staying on track for our retirement. These are strategies anyone can start applying today, no matter where you're at. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Tom. I'm a certified financial planner, and I'm passionate about helping families make smarter decisions with their money. Let's dive into the first step, choosing the best investment accounts for your kids. This first account is one of the best kept secrets in investing for kids. It's the account I plan to use to set my kids up with a solid financial foundation, one that could give them a massive head start and even lead to financial freedom by the time they're my age. It's called the Custodial Roth IRA. I don't have one set up for my kids just yet because at age 7 and 9, they're not earning an income yet, but I've already got a plan. When they turn 14 and start making money from part-time jobs like mowing lawns or babysitting, I'll help them each open one of these accounts. Now, here's why this account is such a big deal. Kids can contribute as long as they have earned income, and it doesn't matter how young they are. Imagine a 14-year-old setting aside even a small amount of their earnings, let's say $2,000 from summer jobs, for example, into a Roth IRA. The contributions are made with after-tax dollars, the money grows tax-free, and when they turn 59 and a half, they can take it completely out tax-free. That's a win at every step of the way. So let me give you a scenario. Imagine my daughter starts contributing $6,500 annually at age 14, earning an 8% return by investing in something simple like the S&P 500. By age 34, her Roth IRA would have grown to just under $300,000. Now, if she keeps contributing the same amount consistently until age 54, that account could grow to over $1.6 million, all because she started early. This is the power of compound interest, and it's a game changer for young investors. But here's the reality. Kids don't always see the big picture. When I was a teenager, I spent every dollar I earned on clothes, fast food, video games. Saving and investing was never on my radar at this point in my life. So here's how I'm planning to help my kids when they're older. If my daughter makes $5,000 in a summer job and decides to contribute $1,000 into her Roth IRA, I'll match it with $1,000. So together that's $2,000 invested, and she still has plenty of money to spend on things she enjoys. Matching their contributions is a way to encourage them to save without forcing them to give up every penny they earn. Now, the beauty of a custodial Roth IRA is that it's simple to set up at all the major firms like Schwab, Fidelity, or Vanguard. You as the parent control the account until they turn 18 or 21, depending on your state. After that, it rolls into their name, giving them full ownership. The only limitation is they can't contribute more than their earned income for the year or the Roth IRA limit, whichever is less. For 2024 and 2025, that's $7,000. Now, since most kids don't earn enough to owe income taxes, a custodial Roth IRA lets them grow their investments completely tax-free as long as they don't make more than the standard deduction, which for 2024 is $14,600, and 2025 it'll be $15,000. This makes it an incredibly powerful tool for building wealth early. So while your kids might not fully appreciate this right now, I'm willing to bet they'll thank you one day down the road. At least I'm hoping mine do. Imagine your son or daughter in their late teens or early 20s with a strong financial foundation already in place. That's what makes custodial Roth IRAs such a powerful tool. When my kids were still in diapers, my wife and I knew we wanted to give them a financial head start in life. We didn't know exactly what their future would hold, college, buying their first car, maybe even a house, but we wanted to make sure they had flexibility when the time came. That's why we opened a UTMA account for both of them. Now, the UTMA or UGMA is a type of custodial account that allows you to invest money on behalf of your child. The difference between the two is pretty simple. UGMA accounts can hold things like cash, stocks, and bonds, while UTMA accounts can hold all of that plus real estate. Now, for my family, the UTMA was the best fit because it gave me the flexibility to invest in ways that align with our long-term goals. And here's what I love about these accounts. They're not limited to education expenses like a 529 plan. As long as the funds are used for your child's benefit, you can use them for just about anything, whether that's helping them buy their first car, put a down payment on a house, or even starting a small business. For us, having that kind of flexibility was a really big deal. Since my kids are still young, I've been able to focus on long-term growth. I invest our accounts in a mix of individual growth stocks and ETFs, knowing we won't need the money for a really long time. This way, the accounts have the potential to significantly grow by the time they're older. But no account is perfect, and there's one big caveat with the UTMA and UGMA accounts. Once your child reaches the age of majority, which is 18 or 21 depending on your state, the money is legally theirs. That means they can use it however they want. For us, this doesn't bother me as much because I plan to use most of the funds on them before they reach that age, but it's something every parent should keep in mind. Another thing to note is that these accounts don't come with tax advantages. Any income generated, like dividends or capital gains from selling stocks, is taxable in the year it's earned. That's why I focus on long-term growth investments that don't pay heavy dividends and they don't require frequent trading. By keeping things simple, I avoid triggering unnecessary taxes while giving the accounts plenty of time to grow. And one more thing to keep in mind, there's no limit to how much you can contribute to a UTMA or UGMA account. However, if you contribute more than $18,000 per year as an individual or $36,000 as a married couple, you'll be subject to federal gift tax. Now, for most families, this won't be an issue, but it's worth being aware of if you're planning to contribute large sums of money. At the end of the day, UTMA accounts are a great option if you want flexibility in how you invest and spend the money for your kids. For my family, it's been a way to save for big milestones without locking ourselves into a specific goal like college. And while it might not be the right choice for everyone, it's definitely worth considering if you want to give your kids a head start on whatever their future holds. Like a lot of parents, we wanted to make sure our kids had options when it came to their education. And that's what led me to open the next account, which is a 529 college savings plan for the both of them. The 529 plan is a popular choice for many families because of its flexibility. And one of my favorite features is that if my daughter doesn't use her 529 account, or maybe doesn't use all of the balance, I can transfer that to my son or another family member, like a grandchild, or even myself to use for education purposes. That flexibility gives me peace of mind because it ensures the money never goes to waste. Another great perk is that recent law changes now allow 529 plans to cover more than just college. You can use up to $10,000 per year for K through 12 education expenses at public or private schools, which is a nice bonus if your family is thinking about private school tuition. Also, if you plan on applying for financial aid, the 529 will be a better option over the UTMA account. In general, UTMA accounts are seen as child's assets, while 529 assets are seen as the parents'. The FAFSA, who reviews financial aid applications, weighs the child's assets more heavily against you. That means that if saving in a UTMA instead of a 529 could result in your child getting less financial aid, so that's something to be aware of if that's important to you. It's important to know that each state's 529 plan is a little different. There's no annual contribution limit, but states have lifetime caps, so it's worth researching the rules in your state. Some plans also allow you to lump up to 5 years of contributions together using the gift tax averaging rule. If that's something you're considering, definitely consult your CPA to make sure it aligns with your financial strategy. For my kids' 529 accounts, I take a hands-on approach with the investment strategy. Instead of using the default age-based portfolios, I've selected individual portfolios like the S&P 500 index portfolio and the growth index portfolio. Over the last 10 years, these portfolios have averaged a 12% annual return, which is a great fit for us since my kids are still young. That gives the accounts plenty of time to grow before we need the funds. The one downside is it's very rare to find a 529 plan that allows you to invest in individual stocks. Not a big deal for most parents out there, but this is why we also have UTMA accounts for the kids. What's also great about the 529 plan is that there's no time or age limit for using the funds. If my daughter doesn't need the money right away, I can hold on to that account indefinitely or even transfer it to another family member. That kind of long-term flexibility makes it a powerful tool for planning not just for college, but for education in general. And here's an exciting update. Recent law changes now allow parents to roll up to $35,000 from a 529 plan into their child's Roth IRA over their lifetime. There are a few conditions with this though. The 529 must be at least 15 years old. The rollover is subject to annual Roth IRA contribution limits based on your child's earned income, and contributions made within the last 5 years can't be rolled over. It's not a feature every family will use, but it does add another layer of flexibility to the 529 plan. For me, the 529 has been a great way to save for my kids' future while keeping my options open. Whether we end up using it for college, transferring it to a family member, or rolling it into a Roth IRA down the road, it's one of the most versatile accounts out there for parents who want to set their kids up for success. One of the most common concerns I hear from parents is, how am I supposed to pay for my bills, put food on the table, save for retirement, and still put money away for my kids' college? And honestly, it's a valid question, and one my wife and I wrestled with for a long time. After a lot of thought, we realized something important. There are loans, scholarships, and financial aid for education, but there are no loans for retirement. They just don't exist. That's why we prioritize saving for our retirement first. And this can be difficult for a lot of parents. It's not selfish, it's practical. By taking care of our future, we ensure we won't be a financial burden on our kids later on in life. That allows us to support their education where possible without putting our own financial health at risk. But what if you still want to do something for their education? Don't underestimate the power of small, consistent contributions. Even $50 to $100 a month into a 529 plan can make a difference. For example, $50 invested at the beginning of each month, earning an average 10% annual return, can grow to just over $38,000 over 20 years. Bump that up to $100 and you're looking at over $76,000. Sure, college costs are rising, but this perspective gives me peace of mind knowing I can contribute something meaningful without sacrificing my own retirement goals. Here's our belief. Teaching our kids about money is even more important than the money we save for them. Money isn't taught in schools, and if we can teach our kids how to manage money, think of it as a tool, and build good habits, they'll have the skills to create their own financial success. So let me share a couple of ways my wife and I are teaching our 7 and 9-year-old kids about money. The first thing we did was give each of our kids a piggy bank. I know this is simple and a very common idea, but it's effective. Anytime they got money from birthdays, holidays, the tooth fairy, or even an allowance, we encourage them to put some of it into their piggy bank. Over time, this builds the habit of saving. A few months ago, we emptied out my son's piggy bank onto the floor and helped him count it. And when he carried it down the stairs, I remember him noticing how heavy it had gotten over the years. And between all the change, the singles and fives, he saved up around $73. We explained to him, okay, you have $73. You can save it, spend it, or invest it. But once you spend it, it's gone, and you'll have to start all over again. To take it a step further, we showed him and my daughter their custodial investment accounts. So I pulled up the graphs to show how much the accounts had grown, again, on the computer since they were 1 or 2 years old, and seeing nearly $20,000 in their accounts surprised them a little bit. These small everyday conversations about saving, spending, and investing start to lay the groundwork for understanding the language of money, and showing them how their money grows over time plants the seeds for playing the long game. Another thing we do as a family is teach the importance of giving. Last Christmas, my wife and I noticed a post on our local community Facebook page, and one of the stores had an empty Toys for Tots bin, and the donation deadline was coming up in the next day or so. So we decided to take the kids to the store and explain that we were picking up toys for other kids so they'd have something to play with on Christmas morning. This was tough for my son to understand that the superhero toy he picked out wasn't for him, but for someone else. But my daughter got it right away, and eventually my son came around too. But after checking out, we had them drop the toys into the donation bin themselves, and this was such a meaningful experience that we're making it a yearly tradition. This year, we're planning to take it a step further. We're thinking about having them use some of their own money to buy a toy and donate it. It's a small way to teach them about generosity, gratitude, and the impact of helping others. At the end of the day, raising our kids to understand money isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's not about saving millions of dollars for them. It's about teaching them the right habits, having meaningful conversations, and giving them the tools to make smart decisions with their own money. Whether it's saving, investing, or giving, these lessons will serve them for the rest of their lives. Now, for those of you who haven't started saving for yourself yet, I've got your back. Whether you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, in this video, I share my top 10 recommendations on what to do if you have nothing saved for retirement. Click here to learn how to take control of your finances, and I'll see you over there.